What happened when my uncle tried to steal my grandmother's estate, but the truth she left behind exposed everything? It happened the summer after my grandmother passed away. Our family gathered in her old farmhouse to sort through her belongings. Grandma had been the glue that held us together, and her death left more than an empty chair at the table. It left questions. She always promised her estate would be divided fairly. No favorites, she'd say, patting our hands. We believed her. On the first night, my uncle announced he had found her will. We crowded into the living room while he read aloud. According to the document, nearly everything, the house, the land, the savings, was left to him. My father and his siblings were stunned. I felt the air thicken as silence turned to disbelief. Grandma loved fairness. Would she really cut out the rest of her children? It didn't sound like her at all. My father asked to see the papers. My uncle hesitated, then handed them over. The signature looked right at first glance, but something felt wrong. The will was dated just 3 months before she died, when Grandma could barely hold a pen. My dad pointed it out, but my uncle snapped. She wanted it this way. End of discussion. His voice carried finality, but his eyes darted away, and I caught a flicker of guilt. That night I couldn't sleep. Memories of Grandma's voice kept replaying in my mind. I remembered helping her sort mail at the kitchen table just months earlier. She told me she had updated her will 2 years ago, and that she made copies so no one could twist things. If that was true, where were those papers? Why hadn't we seen them? The thought gnawed at me until I finally decided to act. The next morning, while others argued over furniture and dishes, I slipped into Grandma's sewing room, the one place my uncle hadn't rifled through yet. The room smelled faintly of lavender and old fabric. Drawers overflowed with thread, tins of buttons, scraps of lace. I opened box after box, but found nothing. My heart sank. Maybe I was chasing ghosts. Then I noticed a small locked box tucked behind bolts of cloth. My hands shook as I pried it open with a hairpin. Inside, wrapped in tissue, was an envelope marked, "For my children, in case of questions." My chest pounded so loud I could barely breathe. I carried it straight to my dad. We gathered the family again around the kitchen table. Dad opened the envelope carefully, revealing a handwritten note and a notarized copy of the will dated 2 years prior, the one Grandma had mentioned. This version split the estate equally among all her children. The handwriting was shaky, but clearly hers, witnessed and sealed. Gasps filled the room. My uncle's face drained of color. "You forged that newer one," my aunt whispered, pointing at him with trembling hands. My uncle shouted back, but his voice cracked. When Dad compared signatures side by side, the difference was obvious. The last will was clumsy, her name uneven like a tracing. My cousin, who worked at a bank, confirmed it didn't match her legal signature on file. The evidence stacked higher with every word spoken. The room erupted shouts, accusations, tears. Years of tension poured out in minutes. My uncle tried to storm out, but my aunt blocked the door. "How could you?" she demanded, her voice breaking. She trusted us. Other siblings chimed in, some crying, some raging. It was chaos, but also clarity. The truth was finally out. Eventually, the lawyers were called and the fraudulent will was thrown out. The valid one, Grandma's real wish, was honored. Her home and savings were divided as she always promised, fairly, equally. Justice, at least in legal terms, was served, but the damage couldn't be erased. Trust had shattered like glass. Family dinners grew quiet, invitations fewer. My uncle never apologized. He avoided us after that, ashamed but unrepentant. We lost more than money that summer. We lost the illusion that family always protects its own. Every holiday since has carried a quiet emptiness where laughter used to be. Still, one memory gives me peace. As Dad folded the true will back into its envelope, he whispered, "Mom made sure we'd know the truth." And she had. Even in death, Grandma had defended fairness. Her voice still echoes in my mind. No favorites. Those words mean more now than ever. A reminder that greed can fracture blood ties, but truth endures even when love is betrayed.